if you have a very carefully cultivated atmosphere in your practice, you have a very high level of personal service, then it's different. And if that's the kind of relationship you want because it's more satisfactory, you're going to have to do things differently in your business. How much should I tell my clients about my personal life? How much should they know? How much authenticity is too much? When does it become authenticity porn? That's a term now. Well, it's an interesting question. I think it depends on what kind of clients you want to have. Here's what I mean by that. If you want to build a business that is made up primarily of transactional client relationships, so they're coming to you as a means to an end. In my case, it might be they just want to get some copy written to sell their stuff, and I accept that deal as a means to an end. In other words, I want to get paid. That's the kind of relationship we're going to have. Personal stuff doesn't come into it. But if I'm building a personal brand where my personality infuses the brand in the way that makes personal brands effective, people are going to know and they're going to care what's going on with me, whether I want them to or not. When they hear that I'm ill, I'm going to get gifts in the mail, and I'm going to get flowers, and I'm going to get advice, lots of advice. I know this because I get all those things because I've been very public about my battle with Parkinson's. When you're building a personal brand correctly, you're going to get that kind of personal feedback from your followers, your audience, your clients. If you want a relationship that's not transactional, but is more relational, your people care about you and they want to know what's going on with you. And in fact, whether you tell them or not, they're going to know when something is going on with you because they're going to see it in your face. They're going to see it in your eyes. They're going to hear it in your voice. One of my clients recently unexpectedly lost her pet, her dog, her emotional support animal, this creature she loved so much. And it happened unexpectedly. And then she had to show up for work the next day early in the morning. And she described it by saying her eyes were red rimmed. Her face was puffy. She hadn't slept. And her clients, as each one came in the door, said, "Are you okay? You look so tired. What's going on?" And she was faced with this dilemma. How much do I tell them? Because she's in a service business. She's a massage therapist. And it's a very close relationship, as you can imagine. If she tells them too much, is it going to affect how they feel about how they're being served? Are they going to get sad with her? And instead of getting a relaxing massage, is the client going to get an unsatisfactory experience because they're both so upset? And as my client put it, I didn't want to talk about it because I was going to start crying. It's a really valid question. If you're in the transactional kind of business I mentioned before, like if you run the McDonald's of massage therapy clinics, it's transactional. People come in, they pay their $40. They get a massage, they leave, and they don't care about the therapist and vice versa. I don't mean that in a cavalier way. I just mean it just doesn't come into the transaction. But if you have a very carefully cultivated atmosphere in your practice, you have a very high level of personal service, you have a very high level of relational interchange with your clients, then it's different. And if that's the kind of relationship you want because it's more satisfactory, you're going to have to do things differently in your business. And what I said to my client who was asking me about this was, probably what I'm going to recommend to you is you start charging a lot more money per client and you have a lot fewer clients. And at first she was shocked. Fewer clients? Yes, but they're paying you more. Remember this. What's going to happen if you take this approach is you're going to become the default go-to expert person in your market, in your niche, and you're going to make more money and you're going to work less. That's what's going to happen. Because this is Jay Abraham's strategy of preeminence at work, and it does work. This is not as easy to pull off as you might think. It's not just a matter of saying a higher price and keeping a straight face, although that is part of what's required to make this work. The other part of what's required is you have to feel passionately that you are the best answer to your client's problem. You have the best relief for their pain, and you care enough about them to make sure they get the very best. So you step in quickly and you intervene, you help, and you're rewarded commensurately. That can be a good business. Now, the objection I get to this approach is, that's not very scalable, right? Scalability is what you make it, my friends. Maybe what you want to do is scale your business to a size of one operator, one owner, you, and one client at a time. That could be the model for your epic business. I personally am rebuilding my business to be an epic business. What do I mean by epic? As you might imagine, this is an acronym or an acrostic, depending on how much you want to argue with me about it. Epic business means it's easy, P for profit, it's I for interesting, and it's C for carefree. So an epic business is easy, profitable, interesting, and carefree. Doesn't that sound like the business you want? I want to scale those qualities. I don't want to scale complexity. I don't want to scale overhead. I don't want to scale how many W-2 employees I need to have. I want a business that's wildly profitable, lots of fun, easy to operate, interesting, and it leaves me feeling carefree. If I decide to take the next month off, I can, and the business rolls on and I'm fine. You might say that's not possible. That's not true. It is possible. I'm living it, and you can live it too. I know what all the experts say about you have to scale, you have to multiply your income, it has to be exponential, not incremental. It doesn't have to be any of those things. There's no one right way to build a business. You got to build it the way that's right for you. As I enter into this season of my life, I've learned that what's important to me is having a business that is sustainable for me. I love my business. I love what I do. I need to keep it sustainable. I'm no longer willing to be so busy that I can hardly stand up each day. I'm no longer willing to work so hard that I'm damaging my health by doing so. I want to work. I love the work I do. It's going to be easy. It's going to be profitable. It's going to be interesting, and it's going to be carefree. That's the kind of business I'm building. And you can build one like that too. Ray, how do I do it? There's so many ways how. I'll suggest this. Start with what you already know. Build with little to zero capital investment required, and keep your operation small, agile. Imagine this. Imagine you build a business based on what you already know. You don't have to learn anything new, and your margin is 80%, meaning you keep 80%. So if you bring in $1 million, you get to keep $800,000 of that money instead of paying it out for overhead and other expenses. You keep it. Look, if you're a boomer and you're behind on your retirement savings, or maybe they all got wiped out for one reason or another, maybe the economy, maybe you overfinanced your house, maybe you made a bad cryptocurrency investment, whatever the case is. Let's just say you lost it all. You got to start over. You might be thinking to yourself, what am I going to do? I'm ruined. No, you're not. You can take what you already know, turn it into a lightweight, highly profitable, epic business like I've been describing. You can make $1.4 million and put $1 million cash in your bank account. That's doable. If this subject sounds interesting to you, I'm considering having a small, intimate gathering of a few entrepreneurs who are all in on this concept. If you've been listening to this thinking, yes, this is what I've been waiting for, I want in on that, Ray. If you already know you're in, like even though I haven't told you even if this meeting we're going to have is something you pay for, something that's free, I've told you very little about it, but if you already know you're in, send me an email to ray@rayedwards.com. Put Epic Business in the subject line, and I'll get back to you ASAP, let you know what's happening. This is a big deal. For those that know, it's a big deal. For the rest of you, stay tuned. I'll be talking about it more coming up. Until next time, may you live long, enjoy great health, and may you continue to prosper with purpose. Talk to you soon.